Okay, great. Well, again, thanks everybody for joining. It's been a little while, kind of getting our ducks in a row and getting ready to do this meeting. One of the other groups has already met at this point, the awareness group, and I think the dev group has started communicating a little bit via a Slack channel, but they haven't had their first official meeting, and then the technology group I don't think has met yet either. So we're still kind of in an early ramp-up phase here. So again, appreciate everybody taking the time out to be involved in this group. I think it's kind of surreal seeing the list of people in this group. So it's really great to see people that we haven't seen in a long time back involved and interested in seeing the ecosystem revitalized. This is not going to be super formal or anything, so let's let the dialogue roll on this and everything. But I've got actually I'm going to get out of presentation mode here and just go into the PowerPoint so we can make some notes as we go along here. I think first of all, most of us probably know each other, but there are a few that probably do not know some of us. So I thought we would just take a minute and each of us just go through and introduce ourselves and briefly and kind of what your experience in DNN, and especially as it relates to how you see your particular role within the partner program. I'll go ahead and kick it off. I'm David Poindexter, and I am the CEO of Envisionative. We are a creative marketing and app development company here in North Carolina in the States. And I've been in the DNN ecosystem since day one, really. I was building iBuySpy modules back in the day, so kind of jumped on the DNN wagon early on this. So I always had an interest for quite a few years. I was more of a spectator or a consumer, I guess you would say, in the ecosystem. But as time went on, I started to contribute more and more and give back to the community. So over the past few years, I've really been interested in seeing the community revitalize. And so I'm definitely interested in this group, and particularly when we get to the next slide and start talking about kind of what a partner is. But I'm really excited about being involved. So we'll just kind of go down the list that I see here from the attendee list. Tracy, we'll kick it over to you. If he's online, we'll go to the next one. We'll circle back to Tracy. How about Mitch?
Yeah, so I've been in the ecosystem for I don't even know how long anymore. My primary involvement's with gurus. Anything from open source development to performance optimizations, custom dev, etc. And for me, I've been a partner ever since the partner program had been created when DNN Corp was started, and I'm just kind of glad to see some real effort to help try to make this into a much more welcoming ecosystem as a whole. And I just want to, see the platform grow that we've all been using.
Excellent. Thanks, Mitch, for being involved. Let's move over to Bogdan.
Yeah, so I am Bogdan Nicescu. I challenge you to pronounce the name correctly. So I'm from Romania. I run DNN Sharp. We've been a top module vendor for many years now. And besides that, we are also involved in implementing projects for our clients, web application mostly. And also, last year, we also started doing hosting in Amazon Cloud. So we are almost a full DNN service company now.
Thank you, Bogdan. Let's shift over to Addison.
Okay, so Addison Oliveira from Canada, from Brazil, from Canada. I've been involved with DNN since 2006, but spent my first 3 years very quiet. 2010, started DNN Hero, a video it has the proposition of a video training website for DNN, with training ranging from mostly from DNN administration to some coding as well. So that's what I love. That's what I like. I like training. I like to provide instructions on how to do things, and we focus a lot in the admin side of DNN. So that's one area of my focus. Our focus is DNN Bureau with training. The other one is DeskPal, which is a support provider for DNN websites. We provide help. We provide assistance. And yeah, that's the way I'm looking forward to be, an active member of this group and see how we can, foster a better relationship with the corp, with the community, with, having in mind, I guess that the commercial side of things too, that's my 2 cents.
Thanks, Addison. Appreciate it. Let's go to Ernst Peter.
Hi, Ernst Peter Taminga. I think I know most of the people who are around here, and I think most of the people around here know me as well. We are using DNN.NET Nuke Evoke since 2003, something like that. I've been in the community for a long time. As a company, I have about 25 people working. We have been a DNN Gold partner for some years, but I was not satisfied with the, let's say, possibilities of DNN and Evoke for our business, so we converted most of our clients from Evoke into DNN platform. We do custom development most of the time. Bigger clients, no generic websites, only custom development for a long time now. And I'm really looking forward to seeing DNN get a new rising star on the .NET front.
Excellent. Thank you for joining us. I see Tracy is back online. Tracy, let's jump over to you.
Yeah, I think you guys can hear me now, right?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah, good. I had to dial in. My microphone's not working. I don't know why. But so anyway, I'm Tracy Wittenkeller. Most of you guys know me already, and I know most of you guys. I'm the founder of T-Works. Founded T-Works back in 2005. Although, like David, I've been in the ecosystem since almost day one. We focus mainly on a lot of front-end stuff. So everything started in DNN with me with themes, and grew to building custom websites and doing stuff like that. And then in the past year or so, we've had a lot of focus on using Evoke and liquid content. So that's why I'm most excited about this feeling of revitalization that's going on in this community, because I think there's a really big opportunity once liquid content is rolled in the platform to take DNN in a whole nother direction, man, and to really have some tools in that to be able to take advantage of that commercially, creating new templated products and all kinds of fun stuff. So, and that's why I'm here in this advisory committee to, be as much help as I can with the revitalization that's happening right now.
Thanks, Tracy. I appreciate that. Let me see who's next on the list. Is Gifford? I see he's muted right now, but Gifford, are you able to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I think so. I'm Gifford. Hey, everybody. I don't see anybody on this list I haven't shaken hands with, so that's it.
Excellent. Okay, with that, thanks for being involved, Gifford. You've been in the community for quite some time. I think most of you probably know him. JR.
Yeah, to see so many names on this list from recent and past shows there's a lot of excitement for the DNN community and what lies in front, which is where I'm at. So for those of you that don't know, Manage.com obviously was purchased from Tony 3 years ago. About 4 weeks ago, we actually sold to Deluxe Corp. So now Manage.com is part of $2 billion group, $100 million hosting division. About 17 different brands make that up. And it adds to my excitement on this side because we have a lot more tools at our disposal to help grow the overall community. And the DNN focus was one of the things that Deluxe got real excited about in their acquisition. So I'm very excited about what we're going to be able to do to help the community, start a growth path, basically, get more people involved.
Excellent. Thanks, JR. So I guess it would be appropriate to go ahead and just introduce Tony now.
All right. For those of you who don't know me, I started in the .NET Nuke ecosystem back when it was iBuySpy. Actually, as a module developer, kind of into hosting, grew it up, sold it to JR and his team. It sounds like they've just gone through an acquisition, so it's great to kind of see your baby grow up and stand on legs and be part of something huge.
Yeah, thanks for being a part, Tony. It's good to see you again. And let me see. Oh, Lucas.
Hello. I'm Lucas Bafatakis. I've been working with DNN for 14 years. I've worked with clients all over the world and for projects ranging, I don't know, from small local companies to European Union research and development projects. I'm currently working with Tracy for TWorks. We are helping clients from all over the world promote their services, products, or company by creating websites and services via the DNN software platform. And that's all. Don't know what else to say, really.
Excellent. Thanks for being a part of this, Lucas. There are a few other people on the list, and I see some phone numbers listed, but I'm not sure if some of you may have just called in for audio on the phone. But did I miss anybody that is on the call?
Where's the love, dude? It's Jeff. Hey, guys.
Oh, hey, Jeff. Sorry. I'm sorry. I skipped right over you.
Like that. I figured it was a natural transition as you went through all the hosting guys,
Oh, man. I'm sorry.
It's all good, man. It's all good. It's all right. Now I know where I stand with you, David. No love, man.
I'm going to blame it on the tooling here because the names keep jumping around on the list. They don't stay in the same order.
Yeah. Anyway,
Love you.
So I'm Jeff Coburn. I'm the owner of Applied Innovations. We're a managed cloud services company. We've built our own managed cloud around the Microsoft platform. And these years we're big on Azure and AWS, and we're making a strong push there. In regards to DNN, it's something I still remember the day that Sean first announced it on the ASP.NET forums, and I'm like, gee, this sounds really familiar to PHP Nuke. Let's see where this goes. So from way back then. But yeah, the beauty of DNN is that it's that open source .NET solution, and the ecosystem they had built was absolutely fantastic. A lot of great people that are open and welcoming and just fantastically friendly, like a family. And to watch it just kind of corrode over the years, I'm excited to see it get back, and I'd love to see it get back to where it was.
Excellent. Thanks for joining. Hopefully I didn't miss anybody, but if I did, just go ahead and chime up now. Good. I only missed one person, so that's good. Sorry, Jess. Love you. There's a few other people on the list, by the way, so I'm sure they'll be catching the replay of this. And I think Clint Patterson's going to be joining us, too, at some point. He's got a meeting here that I think he's trying to wrap up and get out of a little bit early. So once he gets in here, I think most of you know Clint anyways, but we'll have him do a brief intro. So let's jump right into an interesting, we've got obviously you can see from the list, we've got a diverse group of people here, and we all are coming from angles that may be slightly different perspective, on what we view as a partner. If we think about the past and kind of the way things are going, when you hear partner, probably the first thing that comes to mind is the kind of the traditional partner program with the DNN Corp. And that is certainly one aspect of a partner. But in our meetings with Andy Treva, the new CEO, he's made it very, very obvious, and that you guys have probably heard from his virtual conferences and some of his blog posts as well, that he views partners as a much broader type definition. So I figured we would take a minute, and I've got a kind of a list of what Andy views as a partner, and I'll certainly inject some of those as we go along. But as a group, I'd like to just kind of hear some of the different definitions of what you would want a partner to be. You know, when you think of partner, what do you envision? Because this is a, you know, this group, we could have a meeting. I could say a few things. You know, we can introduce ourselves. We can toss out a few ideas. You know, but at the end of the day, if we just kind of talk about things, it won't be much. So Andy's really about actions and results and metrics, and you know, really moving forward rather than just talking about moving forward. So I think you know, it's a good thing for us to get into, you know, defining what a partner needs to be defined as. So what are some things that come to your mind? And I'll take notes here in the PowerPoint as we go through.
The ability to leverage. Right.
Tracy, that broke up right at the end for me. The ability to what?
To leverage each other's strengths.
Oh, okay. Excellent. Let's see. So really more of a collaborative view of partner world?
Sure.
And this is just going to be a brainstorm list. We'll kind of refine this list as we go on, you know, to actual definitions. But what are some other things that come to mind?
Transparency is the biggest thing for me.
Transparency, that's good. It might have, did I spell that right? I probably didn't spell that right. Spell checks. Oh, there we go. All right. So, Addison?
I think that's mutual. Maybe it's part of collaboration, but mutual interest. You know,
kind of all working together towards mutual beneficial kind of
same goals.
Part benefits from the same, you know, from the same focus, from the same thing. You know, in our thing is DNN. So.
But I mean, it's interesting. As you're sitting there talking, I'm thinking, you know, Addison, you're in kind of a non-traditional partner kind of role, really. You know, you offer support kind of things. You train. That to me, you're definitely a partner when it comes to this. So it's you know, maybe things like supporting partners would be good. That was one that kind of came out of Andy's list. What else?
You should share the same vision and goals.
I think diversity is an important factor here, because some of us are module vendors and support, like I said, traditional partners and so on.
Indeed. I'm thinking I'm going to run out of space here. Let's see. Make this a little bit smaller. I mean, we've got quite a few here that are in the hosting space, so you know, hosting is definitely a partner type.
And module vendors also.
Excellent. So more. Andy, I've heard Andy throw this around quite a bit, but ISVs, you know, module vendors, people that bring solutions on top of DNN.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder if there's a quick way to make this. I'll just duplicate this slide here. What else?
I mean, if ISVs is all about modules, then maybe teams could be in there too.
Oh yeah, team developer. Yeah, I think that probably falls under the ISVs things, but we'll make a distinction there. Yeah, so I'll put module devs here. People like us, I've always viewed, you know, we're more on the implementation side or integration kind of people. So, you do have the traditional, you know, licensed reseller type partner as well. I guess that falls really in the traditional.
Does there have to be some kind of record?
I don't know if
Does there have to be some?
Sorry.
Does there have to be some kind of recognition?
Yeah, I think you're touching on something we'll talk about a little bit later in the thing, but that is definitely important thing. I mean, what do you guys think about, just, the person that is new into the system, but yet they're excited about the system? And I'm going to kind of use one person as an example of this. I don't know if many of you have been following on Twitter or a little bit in Facebook and some of the GitHub stuff. But Andrew Heffling is a fairly new community member that has jumped in. He's been using DNN a little bit for some project work and so forth, and he just jumped in and he's already contributing to the platform, making things better on the MVC side, doing some things like that. I mean, do you view someone that is really and I shouldn't use the word but a member of the community that is contributing? Do you view those as a partner?
Couldn't it be just a community member instead of just a partner, or an active community member?
Yeah, I might be way off, David, but I think that a partner, I think that usually implies that there is maybe that's the case of him, of Andrew, but a partner, I think that it implies that there is a business operating on the other end that has maybe DNN, maybe not as the main thing around it, but as a high, as a big deliverable of that organization, as a big part of how that organization delivers products, services, or something else, So I think that there's a revenue component to that equation of partner, I think,
Yeah.
Se vogliamo decidere a chiudere, visto che
I guess I'd say to that too, as I look at what other partner programs are, in terms of what Microsoft views as a partner, what Amazon views as partners, what everybody else views as a partner is, a community member that's contributing. Don't get me wrong, we don't want to lower that in an importance factor, but from a partnership ecosystem, it really is a shared companies or organizations, individuals with a shared desire to further the platform is really what it comes down to, right? We're a Microsoft partner. We're a Microsoft Cloud Solutions partner and reseller, and the expectations of us are to evangelize what we're partnering with. So as much as a community member that is contributing is good, I don't necessarily know if that really makes, they're going to have different motivations around how it goes into being a partner.
Yeah.
I agree with Mitch. I agree with Mitch. I think we should look more in what, for example, Microsoft defines as a partner. It is something that they bring businesses to the market, sharing the vision of, in this case, Microsoft and various aspects, working together, being an official recognized organization that delivers services in relationship to the partnering partner. So I think really that contributing community member is very valuable, but not a partner as such.
So I think what you guys are saying is partners are people that have more of a vested interest in moving things forward. Is that right?
I don't know if it's something about investment. I think it's about business, doing business and being recognized as a partner. If I look at the definition of Microsoft, they said a Microsoft certified partner is a firm that provides Microsoft-related product or services or supports for such. So they really are talking about companies, firms that provide services and products and support, and not so much an individual that contributes back.
And I guess another way to look at it is I look at what a person that's new to .NET Nuke, new to Azure, new to Amazon AWS, what they're looking for is they're looking for a partner, somebody that can help them do something. So the term partner, a lot of times, and especially when it relates to partnership programs, is someone that can help me accomplish my goal while leveraging platform XYZ or product XYZ. And I think that is the way to look at it. We don't want, again, I don't want to belittle the individual contributors that are spending their time on the weekends and stuff, but that person that's a hobbyist that is doing DNN contributions for fun is not that person that's going to sit there and hold the hand of a business that's trying to leverage DNN for the first time and get them on board. They're not going to architect, a cloud hosting solution that's going to make everything work for that person.
Hey everybody, this is Jeremy. Just a quick comment. We could easily spend an hour just on this one subject of what the word partner means. I think we should move on, but I did want to mention real quick, one of the things that we were a silver partner back in 2012, 2013, 2014, and one of the things that chased us away was from my point of view, the impossible extreme demands that came from DNN Corp as to how many licenses you had to sell. Want to make sure we don't head that way, but on the other end of the spectrum, anybody who wants to participate, wear the badge, should be allowed to participate and then evaluate after a year whether or not their participation had any value, and then award them an MVP, a partner status. It seems like all the words and ideas are in place. We just need to adopt kind of a relaxed approach to it and make sure the people that want to participate are actually feeling like part of the team.
Yeah, that's a good point. And thanks for joining us, Jeremy. Cause, we went through introductions earlier, but you're welcome to take a 1 minute kind of intro there if you want to for yourself.
No, I'll pass. We need to move along.
Excellent. Well, thanks for joining. So I mean, this is good dialogue. This is a brainstorming exercise just to kind of share some of the different perspectives. I think really narrowing this down, and I put at the end here types here because Jeremy, you bring up a good point. We can talk a long time what a partner really means, but kind of what perspectives do we have in the community for partners? And I think the underlying kind of goal here is that we as a DNN community, have an opportunity to broaden our perspective on what a partner is versus what the traditional partner program has defined. It's kind of a blank canvas for us to write on and try to help guide the community in a positive direction in general. So I think anything we can do to kind of broaden our sense of what a partner is. Now, talking about, you mentioned something else earlier, about levels of partners. I mean, in the traditional sense, there's the gold, silver, bronze type partner levels and so forth. So, if you look at someone, and this is really broadening the definition here, if you look at a community member that's contributing, well, they're a partner in some sense. That they are doing something to contribute to the community, but are they a gold, silver, bronze kind of partner? Probably not so, right? But they have rewards at their level, right? Potentially that could come back to them. So just something to consider. That's probably a good segue into talking about subgroups. I mean, right now we've got a list of 18 people on this list, for the partner ecosystem advisory group. I'm looking for that to grow. So, anybody that you guys can reach out to talk to, to bring on board, to bring a different perspective, would be great. I know once you get a bigger and bigger group, the less collaborative it seems to become. So that's where potentially we could talk about utilizing subgroups in here for the various partner types, so that we have a few people in each group that can collaborate on, from that particular perspective. So what are your thoughts on the subgroup idea? And if so, what would you see those aligning with the partner types?
David, I think first of all is not clear, at least to me, what kind of power this group has. I mean, even a subgroup, what kind of power does it have to influence how DNN evolves? So, what are the actions that we do and how they translate to something in DNN?
Yeah. So I mean, that's a good point. And forgive me if I misinterpret you, but I think what you're saying is, this is what power do we have as a group to define what all this looks like? And I think the short answer to this, I mean, this is still playing out. Obviously, we're still in the early days of the new regime, if you look at it that way. But the fact that this group has been assimilated, and I'm just a facilitator, by the way. I'm not a dictator. I'm not a DNN Corp employee. Clint Patterson will be here at some point, to represent DNN Corp. But when it comes down to it, this is a ecosystem this is a community-based contribution to where we're coming back and we're presenting this. Now, Andy's going to be driven by goals and metrics, at the end of the day, as any corp would be. But I think they want to support us in helping to bring our vision out within reason there. So I think it's quite a turn in the perspective of the past, because the past has always been DNN Corp defines something, right? And then you either are a part of it or you're not a part of it. And that's not the sandbox we're playing in right now, so to speak. So it's an exciting time. Did that kind of address what you were saying?
Yes, but let me give you an example. Let's say that we all agree that we need subscription on DNN Store, or a big part of us. Will that translate to some kind of metric to Andy, and he will take a decision, or how will the process work?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think a lot of that's yet to be determined, and there also, I will mention, probably be some overlap between the various advisory groups, whereas something as specific as that might come out of well, it's not really an awareness thing, but anyways, the point is there may be some overlap. So as the team leads here, we're trying to stay in harmony with each other and making sure that we're making each other aware of things that are happening in our groups. That's the idea anyways, so that things can get executed and not just talked about.
Mm-hmm. And also there will be some overlap with the subgroups probably, so we'll have to carefully see how we split.
Exactly. So while you're kind of thinking about the idea of the subgroups, I don't know if anybody else has anything to kind of mention on that at this point, but it kind of goes hand in hand with how we're going to communicate with each other. Some of the other groups have already set up Slack channels, or Slack teams, or workspaces, if you will, with various channels in there for communication and trying to keep the dialogue moving between the meetings. Everybody has their own jobs and things like that, so it's not like this is something we have to dedicate an incredible amount of time for, but I think we all have a vested interest in seeing things move forward. So Slack is one of the ideas that was on the table. What other communication type tooling would you guys recommend?
I personally hate Slack, but I don't have a much better recommendation.
Yeah, I think there's definitely drawbacks and pros and cons to each tool for sure. I think one thing that could potentially help us utilizing Slack is that we can kind of thread our conversations into channels. So if we did go with the idea of these subgroups, and that's kind of why I'm mentioning that in light of the subgroup conversation, is that we could have channels set up for each subgroup to have conversations, that way within there. So.
David, don't you think it will be better if we don't split into subgroups for now, and maybe just split on topics and then create subgroups when it feels natural?
Yeah, perhaps so. I'm certainly open to any approach that you guys think. I just do also believe that some of us are coming from different perspectives as the others, right? Like your perspective, you'll be concerned more about the module dev perspective, right? And as a module vendor, whereas Jess and JR may have more of a hosting kind of perspective and not so much interest in some of the things that you have. So I think that might be one benefit to having some sub conversations. But yeah, we can certainly.
But you need diversity because at some point the hosting runs modules, and then you need the perspective from the other side. So diversity is important.
Definitely some overlap. Yeah, absolutely. Are there any other?
I would agree with that as well. But I think we need a direction before we can divide this group into smaller chunks. And maybe that's some of the initial conversations. But in the end, even if we have different types, we still have to have a unified process, or we're going to have a very large, convoluted process that's going to be hard to manage.
Yeah, I guess that's another potential benefit of Slack is that we all have exposure to what we're most interested in as individuals or companies, so we can see what's going on in the multiple channels, but I do understand the concept that it can get overwhelming. I just think at some point this group's going to grow, right? We need some more people on board, but for now we can certainly start out with one big kind of bucket. But are there any other tools that anyone would recommend that would be beneficial to us as a group to kind of communicate between the meetings?
Instead of talking about the tools, is it an option if we talk about what do we think is our objective? Let's say, when are we happy over a year? What has to be happened over this year that will make us very happy and define that we have reached our goals? So what is every individual here? What do you like? What do you want to be happened in the next year? So that in January 2019 we can say, okay, we've done a good job and this has been done by us or changed in the partner environment. So talk about our nirvana of partnering.
Absolutely. So perhaps the order of my slides here probably should have been reversed around.
Okay,
but,
sorry.
We'll kind of, I guess, talk about that, and maybe we can circle back to some of these, how we're going to communicate and things like that. But one of the things that Andy is going to be pushing for is to setting clear goals and objectives and some metrics around that. So, this is not all cut and dry to where we can easily put it into place. But what are some of the goals that you guys would have in this group?
100 registered partners. I don't know how many there are currently, but let's say 100 registered partners worldwide.
What else?
I think taking a step back, from my perspective, in the organizations that I work with, a successful question that they ask is they say, why do we need to do something different? And what do you propose we do different? And I think that as we as partners are driving things, our goals and metrics, I think that saying we want 100 registered partners worldwide, that has the negative effect of, perhaps we're sacrificing the quality of those partners to meet some arbitrary number that we've put together. I think as partners, we really want to be driving the product forward in different ways. And it boils down to DNN Corp listening to why we want things changed and listening to how we propose they make those changes. Those changes could be everything from we need this code architecture changed because it will help us write better code, write faster code, or solve interesting problems. Or maybe we need some marketing change because we are missing out on deals because such and such messaging is not on the website.
Good points, Tony.
Yeah, and I think the other thing here, quality over quantity and being able to mutually benefit, right? We need to be able to show a way partners need to be able to help the platform grow by helping people implement, and the platform needs to help partners by providing us the tools, knowledge, and experience to be able to do it. So, for example, one of the biggest complaints I have with the current partner program, we've been a partner since the partner program started. I learn about pricing changes when a salesperson told my client, not when they tell me.
Yeah.
I learn, I mean, that's one of the things where even just getting a framework set up together where it's a mutual beneficial relationship and we can continue to grow, that's a good step in the right direction.
Excellent. I did notice that Clint joined us, so I wanted to give him a second to introduce himself. Thanks for joining, Clint. We've been having a nice collaborative session here to kind of get things kicked off.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you having me. I see you got some who's who in DNN on the call, so I'm interested to see you know, what you got going on. But it sounds good, and I definitely appreciate all you guys being here. And I'm sure David has said, you know, he's very open to, you know, driving change, and so we're hoping that the ecosystem advisory groups can play a big part in that.
Yeah, so like if we were to, you know, define like what you could, we're obviously new getting together, we're kind of getting a feel for what the different perspectives each of us bring to the table and all that. You know, if we were to say, hey, over the next 3 months, what is it that we would like to accomplish as a group? And maybe they aren't, you know, long-term kind of more goals and getting systems in place, something like that, but what would we like to accomplish over the next 3 months other than just sharing opinions and things like that? And we need to do that, obviously, in the beginning, but, you know, at the end we need to kind of put some good goals down to achieve. Like what would you see that would just pump you up and get you excited if we accomplished over the next 3 months?
Yeah, that kind of goes along with what I was thinking, David, about really coming up with a mission statement for the group. You know what I mean? What is our mission statement that, you know, that is shared by everyone in the group? And, you know, will that, by creating a mission statement, will that help us to focus on all the goals that we want to achieve as a group? It probably will.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. With caveat that I think that really needs to come from a corp. They've got multiple advisory groups that they're putting in place, and we don't want to come up with our own list and then overlap on tasks or goals they've already given to somebody else. I don't know, Clint, if you can speak to that. You know, can we get clarity there?
Yeah, so we are going to be having ecosystem advisory group leader meetings, which there's one today, which David's going to attend, and you know, that should eliminate any overlap. And I mean, there's no rules that like other groups can't meet, and also a lot of the people that are on the partner group are also on maybe the awareness or the, you know, developer advisory group. So we intentionally are putting in overlaps. Because, for example, you know, when the developer group comes out with some new something, they're going to need help from the awareness group to get the word out about it, right? Those guys aren't going to have to create all the tutorials and things like that. So it should come from the top, the leaders of each group, and then, you know, but it's not like every direction is coming down from DNN. So I just want to, you know, reiterate that. But as best as possible, you know, we're going to be communicating across the groups. And, you know, I think David mentioned the Slack channel. I know the developer group and the awareness group both are in Slack, and there's just, you know, conversations going on, not all the time, but pretty often. So hopefully we can eliminate the, you know, working in silos notion.
Yeah, I was looking up on one of Andy's blog posts, and I'll copy this over just so that we have it as a visual reference, just to kind of address what you were saying, JR. And if I could get my computer to respond here. Let's see. This is what Andy had put out there. Dramatically increase the communication and quantity of partners from resellers to integrators to ISVs to hosting providers and beyond. I don't know if that was really intended as an actual mission statement, but it may provide a pretty good starting point for us to at least consider.
Mitch talks about, let's say, quantity versus quality. I think you first start to have quantity, and then you can define your quality members in there. So I really support this mission statement. Once we define between one quality partner worldwide or 100 partners worldwide with a number of possibilities that have quality, I would start. What I see with other partner networks being built up, they first start to gather a lot of partners, and then later on, when they have enough, they go to define some qualifications, some rules, some definitions behind it, so they can qualify the different partners and move them into a certain level. But then you start with a large quantity of partners, and I would like that. For example, I've been talking about SmartSite in the Netherlands. They have about 30 partners, not all well done, but 30 partners in the Netherlands. Whereas for .NET Nuke, there was only 1 or 2 partners, and just based on the number of partners, we were declined in the proposal because there were too few a number of partners. So I really like a large number in there, and that will going to generate some public and some communication, and then later on start qualifying the different levels. So I really support this mission statement.
I guess I have a question for you about that, Ernst Peter, because I don't know if it's necessarily been as big of a deal outside of the U.S., but there was a certain partner that will remain nameless that used to exist, and it did a lot of damage to the ecosystem. As a high-level partner, they essentially conned people out of about $200,000 to $300,000 worth of development. And the argument was that, well, they're a partner. We can trust them. As much I want to cast that net wide, but I'm worried, will we devalue other partners in the system? Will we devalue the platform as a whole if we just open the floodgates and let anybody come in? And I think back to the security vulnerabilities that we experienced earlier late last year. If we bring in a partner and we let any module vendor come in, and I hate to pick on them, but they're the only one that DNN Corp is, blacklisted essentially from the store. But if we let DNN go, become a partner, and then all of a sudden a security vulnerability comes out, and then we just kind of cross our arms and run away from them, does that risk us harming the value of the partner program?
It does. It does. So what David has written down here, there should be some, let's say, limited qualification criteria for becoming a partner. They have to agree and follow up some of the rules that have been defined by the partner network. But if you set the level, the qualifications too high, you end up with very few numbers, maybe of a high quality. But the number are very small. The number is very small, and I don't think that's beneficial in the longer term. You have to have a larger number of people and partners supporting. But yes, there should be a possibility for DNN Corp to say to some companies, you can be a partner, and other ones, they cannot be a partner for certain reasons. So some qualification should be there. But I wouldn't focus on quality on the first place. I would start with gathering a large number of partners in there to a particular minimum level, and then later on, when you have enough partners, split it up and make different qualifications in there.
I agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
If you only have 19 apples on the table, it doesn't make sense to sit there and qualify them as good, good, better, best. Let's wait until we have 100 or 1,000 partners, but we need this badly right now. Social media rules the day, and I'm sorry, but I think there's 19 partners on the DNN site. it looks like it's over, so we're starting from scratch. We need 100 partners fast. I say anyone who wants to participate, call them a partner. We'll sort it out later, and we need to avoid things like the pay-to-play mentality and make sure that there are some rules, but they can come later. Right now, if somebody cares enough to participate, bring them in. Let's see what they can do.
If you look at the Microsoft partner level, you can just subscribe as a company to be a partner. That's all. When you start as a registered partner, you don't have to pay anything. You get some beneficial items in there. You get some discounts on different items. You get listed over there. And later on, you can become a silver partner or a gold partner on certain levels. But just get them in. I agree with that, Jeremy.
This is great dialogue, guys, and I do want to respect everybody's time. It's now 5 minutes before the end of the hour. Kind of, just to kind of bring us full circle, I think this is good dialogue for the first time, and we've got some ideas on the table here that could potentially be shaped into some clear goals and so forth. Short of any other ideas, I'm just inclined to go ahead and set up the Slack workspace so that we have that. That'll work better for some than others, but it will at least give us some type of communication vehicle between our meetings. So be looking for an invitation to that. For those of you that have not used Slack, there are desktop versions as well as mobile apps as well as the browser-based versions. So feel free to choose the one that works best for you. So we'll get some of this conversation kind of continued there and so forth and all that. But are there any, Clint, I'll give you the floor here. Are there any kind of closing remarks that you have for us on this? Not to put you on the spot, but I know you kind of joined late.
Yeah, right. No, I appreciate it. I would just, again, reiterate thanks for all of you guys taking the time to be a part of this. We are kind of shaping it as we go. Like we said, there's no established blueprint for what we're trying to do here. But we got a lot of passionate people, and so I think that, we can definitely have some positive change. As David probably mentioned, we've got a meeting with Andy this afternoon, which hopefully we can kind of refine, what's going on moving forward as far as what we're able to do and kind of his vision. And so I would just say that, so David, did y'all establish maybe a recurring meeting frequency before I got here? Is this a monthly meeting or?
We have not. We started going down the path of communication and things like that, and then kind of shifted directly into what we're looking to get out of things. So we didn't quite get there, so we can continue that. I think I'll throw out, is once a month frequent enough? Is it too frequent? Do we need more frequency? What are some thoughts there for everyone?
I think once a month makes sense right now.
I agree.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, agreed.
I like the idea of once a month, but not letting some communications just fizzle out during the month. Definitely have some follow-up.
I also agree with once a month, but I'd like to suggest that we, since we're just getting started up, what if we repeat this in 2 weeks and then 2 weeks again and then switch to once a month? I really think we need to hit on to action items, and we don't seem to have done that yet.
Okay. Kickstarter.
I'd also encourage maybe a meeting if we have time for those that are at DNN Summit as a great way to get in a room, whether it's after the first day of session or some other time. I'm not sure how many of the people in this group are going to be at Summit, but it would be a great time to, really just get in a room, get a whiteboard, and hash some stuff out as well, just as a thought.
Yeah, I think it's
I'd be
great
up for
idea.
that, Mitch.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea, Mitch. Maybe you can kind of let us know what availability there would be for a breakout room or something like that there.
Yeah, I think we can use one of the session rooms afterwards. Let me double check with Cassidy this afternoon. I think we can make a room work.
Okay, excellent. That's a good idea. So we'll continue some of this conversation once the Slack channel gets started up, and then I'll send out another doodle. That seemed to work pretty well for everybody getting things back. I know it was a little bit busy over the holiday, so I was a little late getting this actually scheduled, so I apologize for that. But I'll send out another doodle request for a few dates where we could meet sooner rather than later. And thanks for that feedback, Jeremy. Okay. Well, thanks everybody for taking your time. I know it's a little bit chaotic kind of here at the beginning, just kind of getting ideas on the table and so forth, but really appreciate everybody taking your time. Look forward to the great things ahead and getting some real clear, actionable goals and metrics in place.
Awesome.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
See you guys.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.